Hello everyone, my name is Joe, welcome to Genius of Joe. Today guys, we'll be discussing studio lighting. More specifically, why your studio lighting is bad. And no, it is not what you think. Guys, it is not gear. It's not because you don't have that certain softbox or you don't have that certain soft lighting or that certain, that beauty dish that fashion photographer owned, but you don't have that or something like that. Nothing to do with that. And in this video, I'm going to prove to you why it's nothing to do with that, because I'm actually, the examples I show, I'm going to use a cheap reflector dish. The reflector dish that comes with literally every light that you buy. So there's going to be no excuses here. I'm not going to use a certain softbox that you may not own. I'm going to use basic stuff. So no, it's not because of a softbox or any gear that you don't own. It's because you don't understand the basics, and you need to start understanding the basics of lighting to actually get good lighting. So number one reason why your studio lighting is bad, your lighting isn't intentional. So this is probably you right now. So you get into a studio, you get a little light modifier, let's say it is a reflector dish, you put the reflector dish on the camera, on the light, and you just put the light anywhere. You just place it anywhere you like. You don't put it in a specific location, a specific angle or height. You just place it anywhere. And you just don't know where to place it. There's just no precision behind it. You know what I mean? There's no intention. There's no vision behind it. You're just placing it anywhere you like, because you don't really know, if you're honest with yourself, you don't really know how lighting works. You're just putting it there and leaving it like that, right? And you get this look that you may or may not like. Guys, we need to start to understand the basic lighting techniques, guys. You need to understand how different heights and different angles cast certain shadows on the model's face and all that type of stuff. And it goes back to this, not go back to it, but you need to know where to place your main light to get the specific look that you want to tell your story. Because guys, portrait and fashion photography is all about storytelling and intention. So if you don't have that in your lighting, there's going to be no depth to it. But if you have that in your lighting, there's going to be more depth, there's going to be more story, there's going to be more, there's three-dimensional look to your photos. It's going to have more layers to it. And that's how professionals do their thing. You know what I mean? They always have an intention behind their lighting. So I'm going to give you an example right now. So I'm using this app called Satellite, little 3D, little like simulation. Oh, okay. A 3D little simulation of different, of like a studio lighting. So it's easier than actually going into a studio and lighting, right? So guys, let's say you just place the light here. I've got a basic reflector dish on there because you guys probably have that. This is a basic studio space, like a small backdrop. You probably have a way bigger backdrop, but let's just say you have this small backdrop here, just to give you like no excuses basically, right? So you're just probably just placing the light anywhere. You placed it here, it's eye level, you just placed it all right here. Oh, that's kind of nice, I'll keep it there. Guys, you need to stop doing that. We need to start experimenting with different angles, different heights, see how it affects the model's face, see what the shadows look like. And yeah, because guys, instantly, as soon as I just put the lights up a bit higher and moved it a little bit closer to the camera, look at those nice shadows. Look at that like Rembrandt kind of light shadow there. And if I go a bit higher, see that? Kind of affects, you see how it affects it. And if I go further back, there's more shadow, further away. That's another rule, guys. A rule would be, the closer the light is to the camera, the less shadow on the model's face. So if I have it here, then obviously there's a shadow here, but there's less shadow here. But then if I placed it more here, obviously it's more like split lighting, right? Obviously to be aware of all these shadows. But again, because you're just not aware of this stuff and you don't know how to light with intention, you're just placing lights anywhere you want. You put it here, okay, I'll leave it there. Guys, start experimenting with different heights, different angle. Like, oh, what does that look like? What look does that give off, or something like that? Like, oh, should I do that? Like, oh, that gives a more. Oh my god, my fucking laptop's about to die. That gives a more like sinister look, or something like this. Or should I do something like higher angle like that, give a more flattering look? Like, literally, just play around with different heights and angles. Stop just placing the lights at eye level and just being like, okay, I'll just place it here, or I'll just place it there. I'll place it here. It's like, no, guys, actually understand how the shadows work. You know what I mean? That makes sense. I don't know, guys. It's an experiment. Stop just placing the light in one place, but stop by actually like angling it and experimenting with different angles and heights and all that sort of stuff. I'm repeating myself, guys. Just try out different ways of lighting instead of just placing it on one thing. You guys, it's on a C stand or a light stand for a reason, because you can play with the heights. It's not stuck at eye level. You know what I mean? So guys, if you didn't know already, I do have my paid program called Photo Genius University, which gives you access to this course called the Portrait Lighting course, which goes over literally all the basics of portrait lighting, how to light like a pro, how to light with intention, know all the basics, know exactly how to use multiple lights or one light, master it all basically. But in this video, you don't have to rush into that, by the way. I'm just saying, watch this video first, then check that out afterwards. But I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna tell you how you need to go from the ground up, basically, like from the bottom, right? If you don't even know how to light like this, you need to you're just lighting random, you're putting lights in random locations. Watch this video first and then you can check that out afterwards. And guys, I'm gonna show you an example of unintentional lighting and not lighting with an actual vision in mind. You're just putting lights in random places. These are photos that I took back in 2022. Just like the start of my photography. Well, it wasn't really the start because I did one portrait shoot back in 2022. I didn't do any portrait shoots until 2023. But this is the one portrait shoot that I did do in 2022. And here, yeah, could you say the lighting looks decent? You could say that, but when you get more advanced, guys, you realize this lighting is kind of terrible. It's not really that good, right? Like, look at here, for example. Where am I placing the lights here? I've got two lights here. I've got one here, one here. I've got this weird shadows on his eye socket. It looks kind of weird. Barely any catch light. It just looks kind of off. Like, what is going on there, right? Like, there's no intention behind that. You can kind of tell. On the day, I can be honest, on the day, I was just like, okay, I put the light there, I put the light there. And then I didn't even think about the lighting because I don't know how to light. I'm just placing them in random places. Same thing in the middle here. I'm just like, why is his one eye just like completely in shadow? But then this eye is kind of in shadow, but it's kind of not. And then he's got this weird, like I don't know what I was doing. I didn't even do this one. I've used one light source here. Why you got this weird shadow like on his eye here? And it just looks off. And some of your studio portraits may look like this. And guys, again, go back into set light again, or we're going to go to studio, play around with different like heights. Again, play around with the heights, play around with the angles, and then look at that. That looks so much better. Look at that roll off on the cheek and on the nose there, right? Compared to if I just had it at eye level and just like, oh, I guess I'll place it there. Because it looks kind of unflattering. It looks kind of weird looking, right? So again, understanding different heights, different angles, how it affects the model's face, really be specific with where you place the light and understand how the shadows work and the roll off and all that type of stuff. Yeah, I think I said that like 7 times in this part, but it was really just, the whole thing really, the big takeaway was like, just experiment with different heights and angles as much as possible. And another thing I want to mention, guys, is playing around with the distance. So like the height, the angle, and the distance. Those are 3 things you could really experiment with when you're lighting. Those 3 things, right? Height, angle, distance. Even the distance. If I put the light back here, up the power a little bit, the light's a bit more softer, it's a bit more gradual. The shadows aren't as deep. But if I get closer, you see how the shadows are much more deeper now. If I obviously put the light down, the shadows are much more deeper now. They're not as like, it's the roll off is less subtle. If that makes sense. It's almost like the light gets softer as I put it further back. When I get it closer, it's more harsh as I get it closer. So yeah, so play around with those 3 things: height, distance, and angle. So height, distance, angle. Those 3 things right there. And guys, the second reason why your studio lighting is bad is because you're using too many lights. The way to master lighting, and something that I wish I knew when I first started studio lighting, is to focus on one light source first, or one light setups first. I know too many people that are introducing multiple lights too quickly. Right, they're doing it too quickly. I have people in my pay program, for example, in Photogenius University. I talk to a lot of them. They do studio lighting a lot too, and they do the same thing. They have one light setup, and they use one light at the start, and it's like the lighting isn't even that good. And they go, okay, now there's another light source, and then there's another one. They've got like 4 lights coming in, right? And it's like, what are you guys doing? This is why you find studio lighting confusing, because you're making it confusing for yourself. You're adding in all these different lights. Like, what are you doing, right? Focus on one light source first. And why are we using multiple lights when we barely understand how to use one light? Get the basics right first. I'm going to go back into satellite again. So obviously the goal is to eventually use multiple light setups. Obviously, if you want to get a really curated and stylized look, obviously multiple lights is going to be obviously much better and more ideal. But for now, you barely know how to use one light setup. You barely even know how to use one. So why are we going to start introducing loads of lights? So if you want to make it less confusing for ourselves and more simple, stick to one light source. Again, go back into the first point. Experiment with height, distance, and angle. Experiment with those 3 things in your one light source. It could be a softbox, it could be a reflected-ish, it doesn't matter. Just experiment with how the lighting affects the model's face. It's that simple, guys. If you start introducing multiple lights, right? If we start adding, like, let's say I've got this light source here, the lighting's pretty nice. Let's say adding another one. Like, why am I doing that? Like, now I'm making it confuse myself. Okay, what am I doing? Like, okay, now the shadows are filled in. It's kind of bland. Her face is kind of pale. Do I turn this down? What do I do? And then, okay, maybe do I place it here, like a rim light? Okay, that looks kind of nice. But then it's like, you know, it's just like, it's so random. And it goes back to these examples that I did, right? These two here, not this one, these two here are used multiple lights. And you can see, what lighting is this? There's no lighting technique here. There's no like, oh, this is rim lighting with some Rembrandt or something like that. There's nothing here. What is this? It's just like, what are these random like shadows on his eye socket here? Why is one of his eyes just completely out, but then his face is not out? You know what I mean? It's just so random, and it's just like, I was finding studio lighting so confusing because I was trying to use like 2, 3, sometimes even 4 lights at a time. And again, like the people in my paid program in Photogenius University, where obviously I teach them, I go on calls with them like basically every single day, right? And they show me their lighting examples, and they're doing the same thing. They're doing the same thing with like, okay, they got 1 light, they're 2 lights, they got 3 lights, and then 4 lights, God forbid, they're using 4 lights, and they don't even know how to use 1 light. And I'm telling them, start with the first light first, perfects the first light, so the 1 light setup first, and then move on to a second light or a third light or 4th light. Because it's easy to think, because you see my YouTube videos and I use multiple lights, and there's other fashion photographers or portrait photographers that use multiple light setups and have top lights, backlights, key light, Rembrandt lighting, loop lighting, all that type of stuff, right? But you're not them just yet. Obviously you will be, but right now you don't even understand how 1 light works. Obviously, for example, with me, I use multiple lights because I know how the lighting works. And again, all the knowledge that I teach you in the portrait lighting course, I literally, because of that knowledge, I'm able to literally just like position my lights so like naturally. I just know exactly how to light. I'm so like, it comes natural to me. Like I know what angle affects the lighting. If I do it too high, then if I do it too high, they're gonna have shadows under the eye socket or something like that. I know what I'm doing is because of that. And I understand that sometimes you don't want this like more moody look or want shadows, okay? But it's not. You know you can get rid of shadows with just 1 light. Perfect example. I just put it directly in front. Boom. That's 1 light. You don't need multiple lights. Again, you don't need multiple lights to get rid of shadows. Obviously, you still have shadows, but it looks really flattering. Just do that. Try to do as much of 1 light first before you start to bring in multiple lights. Because, again, you're going to make it so confusing for yourself if you bring in multiple lights. And it's just going to be like, oh no, what do I do? What do I do? It's because you're using multiple lights first. And first thing, start with 1 light source. Like I said, like the 10th time, start with 1 light source first. So a little challenge, was it really a challenge? So this little challenge I'm going to give you, the next time you do a studio shoot, limit yourself to 1 light source. Don't even let yourself use a second one. Don't be like, oh, that lighting looks good though. I feel like I should have like a backlight. No, do not do that. Do not do that. Keep 1 light source. Just use 1 light source and try to get the best photos possible out of just 1 light. And it just shows once you can do that, that's what I did eventually. I think in like start of 2024, I was like start of 2024, even parts of 2023. Even in 2023, when I first started, I was using so many lights. I'm just like, what am I doing? And it wasn't until like the start of 2024 when I basically started this YouTube channel when I realized, oh yeah, let's master 1 light first, and let's start kind of see how lighting works. And then once I mastered that, or once I got pretty good at it, I was like, okay, now let's start adding in backlights and top lights and adding all these cool different light sources to make my lighting look really cool. But yeah, I didn't then, but that was after I kind of mastered the 1 light setup. So first, master that first. Okay, so now guys, on to the 3rd reason why your studio lighting is bad. You don't understand depth. What do I mean by this? What do I mean by depth? Well, one of the biggest issues I see a lot of people make is shooting too close to the background or the backdrop that they're shooting against. And because you do this, you create these ugly shadows on the background, and your image as a whole has no depth or separation. So I'm going to show you in satellite again. So here, right, I'm shooting right against the backdrop basically. And look at this. You've got this shadow here. Like, that looks terrible. What is going on? Obviously, you could want that, but overall, it looks kind of weird. It's just distracting. It's like this random deep shadow going on there. Obviously, if I place it like here, it's going to go away. But then again, now the shadow's on this face, not going to look good. And also, another reason why you shouldn't shoot against the back, right against the backdrop, it creates these hot spots. With softboxes, it isn't going to have the same effects with soft lighting, but especially with reflected dishes and hard light sources, it's going to create these hot spots. It's going to create these random, like, hot spots is as in like really bright parts of the background, and everything else is done at dark, and it kind of goes really bright in one part and really dark in the other part. Like here, you can kind of see it's quite bright here, and it has this, it's a right roll off, I guess, but it's kind of darker down here. It's kind of, it doesn't look that good. But if I literally simply just, okay, if I select select them all at once and simply bring them forward, look how, it's instantly, look how much better it looks. Instantly. Look how much better it looks. Simply because I took the model and put them like 2-3 feet ahead, literally. So if I go back, that's what it looks like if I had it right against the backdrop. It's all right, kind of shit, but it's all right, right? And if I put it right here, look at how much more depth there is. Even at f11, there's so much more depth, and the depth is literally just, now the background's slightly darker, and it kind of separates the model from the background. So now the lighting has this more three-dimensional look, because if I'm going back to this right against here, the model is probably the same brightness as the backdrop, so it has this weird like two-dimensional really flat look. But as soon as I bring them forward, the background gets a bit darker because less light is hitting the background, and now you have this nice like roll off, and you've got this more three-dimensional look because obviously the model is brighter and the backdrop is a bit darker, just to have that separation, and it just creates more depth and it looks nicer that way. So again, back to the thing, when I talk to people on my paid program for Genius University, they do the same thing. That not all the time, but sometimes they do shoot right against the wall. They'll shoot right against the wall. It doesn't have to be a studio. It could be literally a wall in your bedroom or something like that. They shoot right against the wall, and it just looks so off. And it just looks so, the shadows, ugly shadows. It's very flat, two-dimensional looking. It doesn't look that good. But again, once you literally just take like 2-3 steps forward, this is the effect that you get. Look how much nicer it looks. And guys, you don't need a softbox for this. You can use a softbox, of course. You don't need to use a softbox. You can just use a reflector dish, and you can get that same look. So again, guys, there's no excuses saying, oh yeah, I don't have that softbox or this and that. I'm using a reflector dish. A reflector dish comes with literally every single light that you buy. So it comes default, basically, with every single light that you buy, or that a studio owns or something like that, right? So they're bound to have this. So yeah, guys, so that's another reason why studio lighting is bad, is because you're shooting too close to the backdrop. Okay, I'm gonna give you a little bonus tip though, guys. How to get cinematic lighting? Well, there's two lighting types. So broad lighting, this is when the light will illuminate the side closest to the camera. So you have the light shining on the side of the face closest to you and the camera, basically. I'll show you later, right? I'll show you in a bit. And then short lighting is the opposite. So the light will illuminate the side of the subject the furthest away from you and the camera, giving off a more cinematic and dramatic look. So if you've guessed already, if you want to get a more cinematic look, aim for short lighting rather than broad lighting. Obviously, if you're shooting the model's directly facing you, obviously that's different. Like right now, if I'm facing the camera, it's different because there's no specific side that you're shooting on, it's just straight ahead. But if you're going to shoot on an angle like this, preferably you want your light where the shadow is most prominent on your side the camera side. So I want to show you an example and set a light here. So here's a little angle. So let's say the model's like kind of looking like that on an angle. You kind of see here, I've put the light a bit further away on that side, a bit further on, not my side. I'm on like this side, I'm on this side, and then the camera's on this line here. So placing the light here, and you can see that roll off. It looks so much nicer. And then this one is exact same pose, exact same everything, but this time I've got the light closest to the camera, so it's on my side, and now you've got that. Which look do you think is better? Obviously, some fashion photographers don't really do this technique. They just do whatever they want with the lighting. It doesn't really matter. You're not going to always get this look all the time. Again, some of my photos, I don't have short lighting. I don't do short lighting all my photos, but sometimes you will do it. And if you really be honest with yourself, which is better, in my opinion, this one looks way better. It looks way more flattering. It has this nice roll off. It just looks more attractive. And this one, it kind of looks like it's decent, but it doesn't have that much depth. And it's just like when you're shooting on the shadow side too, it almost creates the illusion of depth. It creates that more three-dimensional look because it almost has this like, you can see the shadow, you can see the roll off, right? This one, you can't really see the roll off. You can see it obviously, but it's not most prominent. Obviously it's most prominent here, so it has this illusion of more of a three-dimensional look. It looks better. So next time you shoot a model and they're going to be shooting on a certain angle, maybe you want to shoot on a certain side of the face, maybe you want the light on the other side of the camera, you know what I mean? Light it something like this, and yeah, do something like that. So yeah guys, that's really it for the video. I hope you guys found this useful. Before I go, I just want to quickly plug both of my products right here, right? So you've got PGA, which is Photogenius Academy, and I've got PGU, Photogenius University, which I've been talking about throughout the video. PGA, Photogenius Academy, that is my free online community. You get access to this course called the Portfolio Mastery course. I give you the first module for completely free, and it tells you how to build your portfolio from the ground up, like what to do when you have literally no photos at all, and where to go from there. Network with some models, start shooting, and obviously I have other courses in there like how to network with models and how to create connections in the industry, all of that for completely free. So guys, I would definitely suggest you join Photogenius Academy first before you join Photogenius University. Join that community. Guys, it's a growing community. I've literally just started it a couple of weeks ago. It's great. Definitely join it. So yeah, guys, it's completely free. So guys, after you watch this video, just join this community for completely free. It's great. Great place to learn. And once you're ready, join Photogenius University. So if you want more personal advice about your portrait photography, in PGA, obviously you get access to the really cool courses in the community and all that type of stuff, but in Photogenius University, that's going to be more personal training. So that's going to be one-to-one training, group training, teaching you personally how you can improve your portrait photography, how you can find your own style, how to land you more clients, get you paid work, start getting paid creative work, getting paid for creative work rather than this bullshit, like this commercial work that you don't really care about, but you're just doing it for money. Know how to get paid to do creative work, and teach you everything that you need to know, teach you all, basically pass down all my knowledge onto you through personal training and calls. So guys, when you're ready, join the paid community, Photogenius University. That's also linked below. Anyway guys, that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys found this useful. Like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you have any questions? Yeah, click on any of these videos here to learn more portrait photography. And I'll see you next time guys. Goodbye.